I'm Elizabeth Baird.
I'm Bridget Satarski. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see everybody. So just to give you guys a little bit of background about our campus. We are celebrating this year our 175th year this year. And on our campus, we have 3 schools. We have the School for the Deaf, the School for the Blind, and then Cedar Springs Academy. At the School for the Blind and School for the Deaf, those students earn a high school diploma or a state credential typically. That's your more academic track. And here at Cedar Springs Academy, our students earn a certificate of attendance. They do not earn a high school diploma. And our students have more of a moderate intellectual disability in conjunction with their sensory impairment. And so we serve students 3 to 21, and when they leave our program, we want to make sure they are as independent as they possibly can and want to give them all the skills that they can achieve once they leave our program. So when looking at Project Discovery, we started looking at Project Discovery in 2017. We purchased the greenhouse. We realized that our students needed to be able to explore different career paths. And the first thing that we purchased was the greenhouse. We had started to work on gardens, and then through some funding, we're able to get a greenhouse. And so we purchased, our first kit was the greenhouse. And we found out through working with Project Discovery and one of the representatives, there was some training that Bridget and I could attend. And so we went to our first training in this summer. And after finishing that training, we really liked the program, and we came back and decided we needed to purchase some more. But with this program, we are able to give our students the skills they need to work on and off campus, the skills that they need to exit our program once they leave our program, and for entering life programs. Those are college programs that are for intellectual disabilities, students with intellectual disabilities. We have 6 college programs, and we are able to give our students job skills at workplaces. So when we started looking at purchasing more of the Project Discovery kits, most of our students were in the hospitality and tourism career cluster. So we did purchase a lot of those kits that were within that career cluster. So grocery store clerking, cleaning, retail, anything that we thought our kids might be able to do. We also looked at the kits that might help provide them with some vocational skills to attend our vocational program that we also have here on campus. We wanted to make sure that our kids have some of the pre-skills for attending the classes at our vocational program here on campus. So we wanted to align some of those kits. So those were our first kits, but we really wanted to look at our career clusters and our students' interests. That's where we first started when we started purchasing the Project Discovery kits. We also looked at the different pathways. Project Discovery is broken down into different levels. So we looked at the different levels and based it on the levels of our kids and what those different levels provided for our students. And so we took what were our priority kits, and then what were our kind of wish list kits. So in 2022, We purchased several more kits. I know I've talked to some schools where they have received several pallets of these kits. This was one of the years where I received 2 or 3 pallets of the kits, and we were able to get training here at our school. So we received our training in January of 2023. So our entire school has been trained. Since we started with Project Discovery, we have been doing it in different ways in different classrooms. And we have some teachers that have used it for a quarter or for a year with the students and have adapted it. This year, we have been able to set time aside for Bridget to really work on the kits and really work on career activities to really focus on the Project Discovery kits with the students based on their career clusters. The way we have set it up this year, we have set it up where just actual classes come to her classroom to work on the kits. And as this has been a trial and error, and it's been a work in progress. And as the school year has gone on, we are already thinking about how would we make changes for next year and what would that look like. I think some things that we might do in the future is base our classes more based on career clusters versus whole classrooms, and work more on career clusters within those kits. So now I'm going to let Bridget talk about how she has adapted the different kits and working with our deaf, hard of hearing students and our visually impaired students.
Hi, okay, once we have the curriculum, what I generally do is pre-test the students. And when I pre-tested my students this year, I realized how much of the vocabulary the students are unfamiliar with and how I had to change the verbiage so the students understood exactly what I was trying to question them on. I had to make the words connected to something they're familiar with. So, for example, one of my classes is on food and nutrition. And there's a question in there that asks a student, what does the word diet mean? Most kids connect the word diet to losing weight. However, the correct answer is what food you're putting into your body. That's the correct word for what diet is. And my kids are like, some of them, they're like, I think diet, I've seen my mom on a diet. She's talked about diets. And so I had to backtrack that and bring it down to something that we're more familiar with outside of that realm. Don't just go into that circle. You really have to make it fit the students and their understanding. Also, I had to adapt the choices. There's 4 answer choices. Some students can only handle 2 choices. So then that's what I changed it to. I've had to give them voice output. And then from that point, after I have the curriculum and the pretest, then I had to go into either further adapting it for our students. Like I said, I work with cognitive, deaf, hard of hearing, VI students, and you have to really adapt it to fit their needs. Yes. Yes, creativity. Yes, my mind went I had to really be creative. My deaf kids are visual learners. They learn by seeing. I had to use the sign language, the pictures, anything and everything that would show them a representation of whether it's a piece of fruit or a tool or something in the garden. I had to make that connection for them to visually see it. Just signing and showing them a word did not connect enough with my students. But it is working, and the more you want the students to learn, the more you can adapt it to meet their needs. Okay. In these pictures, these are me teaching the kids. We taught them dairy. I had to write the words. I had to have them spell the words, I had to have them sign the words, which is all part of what we do in teaching anyways. But as you can see on that bottom where it says the milk and ice cream and yogurt, those are the picture symbols that come with the kit. And the kids are familiar with certain words. So as long as they're familiar with milk, they know chocolate milk, they know ice cream, they know yogurt. If I got into like cottage cheese, they're not familiar with those. So I kind of put those off to the side and I'll work on those once I'm successful with them identifying the basics in dairy. Having them come up and sign, I would have the students come up, take a picture, they had to sign it and put it in the correct area. The topic that corresponding with whatever area they're focusing on. And it's taken since September, but they're getting it and they're understanding. So I just keep adding more pictures. Like the yogurt, they're familiar with the yogurt in the cafeteria, but not the pictures that you see on the slide. Okay. Now, visually impaired students, they're teaching me as I'm teaching them. I'm not familiar with visually impaired students because I've basically focused on the deaf and hard of hearing. So this has been quite the eye opener for me. The type of adaptation depends on the student's visual impairment. As you can see, all the different modalities the students need. Some of them need more than one, some of them need 7 of what you see up there. Some of them can take all of those and work with it. So I've learned about Braille and the Monarch and the Seeing AI myself. So it's a work in progress, but if you talk with the teachers, they'll also help you on what each student needs. Okay. This is a slide of my one class. These kids have orthopedic impairments, cognitive disabilities. Some of them can talk, some of them use voice outputs. The one little boy is using a seeing eye gaze. So, and that's one classroom. So adapting it to their needs is definitely something that is challenging, but also fun. We're working on 3 words: sanitize, safe, and clean. Those are the words, that was their limit. That was what they understood, but after about 2 months, they can all tell you what each one of those words represents. Does sanitize really mean clean? No, that's an adaptation I had to give them so they could connect sanitize means clean, but not the real definition of it. Okay, these are visually impaired students, how I had to adapt for another classroom. This is one of the scene, the pen. It's a talking pen. And you'll hear the student, when I ask him what he sees, goes to show you how their vision, what they can see, it kind of represents their perspective of what they're seeing. So I'm going to play the video. Okay. Hopefully you can hear it. It's not doing it.
No.
Uh-oh.
Felicia, can you play the video, please?
There we go. No,
What happened to the kitten?
no.
Oh.
I'm not sure if you can hear, if any. I'm not sure if everyone heard what.
No, Felicia, I think because you were on mute, your computer's on mute, we weren't able to hear.
Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you
So
bet.
what do you think this is? Cinnamon? What do you think this picture is?
Brown sugar.
Brown sugar. Let's use the pen and see if you're right.
Chocolate milk.
Okay,
Chocolate milkshake.
interesting.
iPad is amazing how it reads it for
It
you.
is
Huh,
amazing.
Good job.
Okay, on this, the student, as you can see, this is his eye perspective, his visual impairment. He sees two glasses that are both brown. That's how similar the pictures are. That's why I use these particular pictures to see exactly, I wanted to see what he sees. So as you can see, he said one was brown sugar and one was cinnamon, totally off. The one is chocolate milk, the other is a milkshake. And that talking pen is programmed by the teacher with that little yellow dot. You talk into the pen and it says exactly what it is. So when the student hovers over it, it tells exactly what those pictures are.
So what do you think this is?
Oops. Okay, hopefully she can. Okay,
Hold steady. Processing. Yogurt, NETWT 8 ounces. Low-fat fruit flavored yogurt 8 ounce container.
and this student uses her Seeing AI, it's called. She takes a picture, she puts it on the back of her iPad, hits processes, hit the button, and then it reads. It reads everything. That's the only problem that I noticed when she was reading. It reads every word on that picture. So what I have to do is go back and hide all the details. She doesn't need to know the net weight yet. She doesn't need to know how many ounces. She just needs to be able to identify specifically what that picture is.
And the Seeing AI is an app that visually impaired students can use for their phone or their iPad.
Can you zoom in so you can see the letters on that, DJ?
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, and this student requires pictures and words that are enlarged, so he places the picture on a dark background, which he uses a slant board, and he's using his iPad to type the words, because he needs it enlarged. Instead of just making everything bigger, he just uses an iPad. From the iPad, he can type his vocabulary words onto his other iPad.
Cottage cheese. Okay.
Oh. I don't know. Cottage. So that we've already cheese, so. Cheese.
Okay, can you hit the enter button to make a new line?
New line.
Okay.
End of document.
Can you get your next word?
Oh. You did 2 words.
Milk. Basically, MILK.
MILK.
No.
This student is blind. So he reads Braille, which is, we've had the words brailled onto the cottage cheese and the milk, and then he's typed it into, it's called a Monarch. It's an electronic Braille device. He could type as many words as he wants. It's like keeping a file of dairy fruits and vegetables, whatever he's focusing on, he keeps files and he just keeps adding whatever his vocabulary words are onto the Monarch. And it shows the lines of Braille and tactile graphics as well. Okay, and these students, they're blind, but they're brailing. As you can see, the cheese is in the brailer, and these students are brailing the words on it's a process. What I had the students do is I'd start with either the Seeing AI onto the brailer send it to the boy who needs to read it on the slant board, and he sends it on to the boy with the Monarch, and then the girl with the pen. And it's just a process. I've had these kids, they're used to doing this. This is their literacy. So we just go around the classroom so they can all identify the same words. Transition goals, what we're using this curriculum for is, I'm taking this curriculum and merging it with our unique learning system, which is our curriculum at the school. There's a section in there it's called Passport Determination, and it just gives the students varying possibilities. Say you want to work at a movie theater and they're going, well, I can't sell popcorn, I can't get tickets, but there are other things you can do. You can clean up, you can assist people, showing them where their seats are. This ULS gives them various opportunities, not just focusing on what we all think of what you do at a movie theater. They, from there, they decide what career path they want. They have the different options, and a lot of our careers coincide with the project discovery. So we're able to take those, give them hands-on, let them see if this is something they really want to do. Sometimes they'll say, well, I don't want that. Actually, I don't like it. So there's other kits that we can work on. And it's just a lot of opportunities for them to feel their way through, starting at 13 till they get to a certain age. And then by then they've tested the waters, they see what they want to do. Some change their mind, some change their mind a lot, but we're trying to hone that in now because you can't keep changing all the time. But I do let them, if they're on a career path for, say, retail, I will let them explore other kits as well, just to see if they, just to let them know there are other opportunities out there.
Does anyone have any questions?
Sorry.
I'm gonna check the chat. Sam, do you have any questions that are out there?
I see one from Faith. She said, are there kits specifically designed for the hearing and visually impaired through Education Associates? Felisa, would you like to answer that question?
Will you repeat it again? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Are there kits specifically designed for the hearing and visually impaired through Education Associates?
Not at this moment, no. But we are working on having that as part of our kits. Our kits take a while to develop. They take a while for us to put these kits together because they come with so many moving parts. But it is in the works that we are working on developing kits. They won't be anything as phenomenal as what these ladies do, but they definitely will be a foundation for you to start with in your classroom. I had a question for you, Bridget. Is there a particular program that you like to use the most out of all of the options you showed us?
You mean as far as your kits, or?
As far as which one of our kits that works the best with what you use?
Well, I have a student that's doing construction, And we have a lot of the construction carpentry helper, and he's really coming into his own using that, being able to identify the tools. He's taken those skills here, and now he's up at our Applied Academic Center, and he's actually helping the carpentry teacher build different things for the school.
Nice.
And I like that one. Of course, I'll always love the greenhouse one because I have so much stuff going on with all my different gardens and that's a good, and that's a lot of hands-on stuff that the deaf and the blind kids can actually feel and understand. That's a little more, they're familiar with that because some kids do plant seeds or whatever at home. Some of them have gardens. There's a lot of kits. We have a lot of kits that I'm anxious to get into, but I just have to have the room for it now just to set them all up. But those are two of my favorites at this point. Those are the most that I've actually played with.
And what's the process for putting your classroom together so that kids can kind of move around in it and work on the kits?
Well, right now I have two classrooms. I've got my homeroom classroom and the Project Discovery. We call it the career activities classroom. And I have, our rooms are very large. Our classrooms are big. So I can set the kids up, open them up, let the kids go around and explore it. I don't have to keep putting them away in the closet because I have that much room. Next year, hopefully I'll have both classrooms and I could just have the kids, here's yours, this is what you worked on yesterday, go back to that kit and start working on it. But I want to display quite a few of them next year and associate it with their career clusters, of course, and then let them experiment some of the other ones we have. I have a lot of the cleaning and maintenance. They're excited about doing that until they realize, you mean I have to do this at home too? It's like,
Yeah, you have to actually clean.
yes.
Yeah.
The one nice thing about the kids, is that when you get like the cleaning and maintenance, you actually get like the yellow bucket that you see with your housekeeping, you get the mop, you get the broom. There is a lot of real, product in the Project Discovery kits. There is some, like in some of the grocery clerking, like for practicing bagging, it is, the plastic stuff, it's not real canned stuff, but there is a lot of hands-on and real, like in the carpentry, it's real tools. We have real sawhorses. So you get a lot of that real hands-on experience, and it gives our kids especially a good experience and gives them some good skills.
Do you use a lot of Project Discovery as transition skills for your kids?
Yes.
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 And are parents often involved in that, like deciding what their kids are going to learn, or you just let kids make that decision and do it all on their own?
So the transition process is, it includes the school guidance counselor, the teacher, the student, and the parents to create their career cluster. And then we also want to get parent input on the plans for what is their plan for post-secondary and their transition goals to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And now that we're able to, at this point, use the Project Discovery kits a little more consistently, using that to really gear our transition goals even more consistently and more effectively for our students, so that they have even better experiences.
Okay, I like that.
Successful.
Yeah. I know you mentioned earlier, Bridget, that kids change their mind a lot when they're doing this. So is there a point where you say, okay, this is what you're doing, period, we're stopping?
Yeah.
Or do you just let them keep changing and changing? How do you work that?
So, if they were to graduate in, like if they're typically in a typical high school, usually by their junior year, they have their career cluster solidified. By their sophomore, junior year, it needs to be solidified. Because we have our students until age 21, we like to try and get that solidified about 17, 18,
Yeah.
19, so that we're able to work on that career cluster and those skills for a good 2 to 3, 4 years, and make sure that we are giving them the best opportunity we can for once they leave our program.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because
Mhm.
even high schoolers without disabilities will change their minds 1,000 times before they make it up. So I wondered if you set like a hard and fast deadline, this is
And
when
that-
you have to change it.
The students come to me they're 13. They start at 13. So this is where I kind of let them
Mm,
feel their way around and see if they, give them, I don't let them do it every week. You're gonna at least take a couple months to understand what this is about. After maybe the first quarter, if they're kind of like, yeah, I'm really not liking it, then I'll let them, move about. But like Elizabeth said, by the time they get to a certain age, you have to have something established.
And you're working the Project Discovery kits that entire time, so they're getting exposure to all the different
Yes,
careers.
yes.
And then tell me a little bit about that, how you get the Braille on the cards, like the cheese and things like that, because I'm thinking we need to do something like that
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
tell me about that process.
So in the kit, the food and nutrition kit, there's the whole stack of all the different foods, every section, fruit, grains, vegetables, whatnot. And I had made a copy of them, kept the originals, and I put it on cardstock, then I laminated them. And then we cut them out and the kids are brailing on the lamination.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice. And the pen too, do you program that stuff into the pen? How does that work?
Yes, you put that little dot, the little yellow dot, you put that on it, and then you put the pen on it and you talk into it. And then when it identifies, you can have like 50 different things, and it identifies each item it is. I mean, it'll say if that's chocolate milk, or if it says it's ice cream, if it's cottage cheese, it's yogurt. The pen identifies from that little dot.
Is it easy to do? I mean, can you do multiples of them, or is there like a limit on how many?
The only limit we have right now is how many dots we have.
Okay.
But we also have quite a few pens. We're teaching the students how to use the pens themselves. So they can put the dot on, we'll tell them what it is, and it's just push a button, it gives a little red light, you say the word, take it off, and it's programmed in it.
That's good.
You just have to change the batteries when you use it too much, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you use these, like the Monarch, I love that thing, and that it can keep a file, keep a record, so it doesn't go away. Once
Right.
it's done, they still have that.
Mhm.
And so do you use these always, or are there other things that you use, or have you not used them and still had success with the kits?
Well, with the kids, this is where I had to go according to each student's visual impairment, depending on how, because that's their literacy. So whatever they read with, they bring that with them. I mean, if they use the pen, they use the pen. If they're Braillers, they use Braille. And the Monarch is
The Monarch,
new.
the Monarch is a new device. It just went for sale publicly in September. And we just got those, right at the end of September. And so it's a brand new device. And so we are still training our students and teachers how to use it. But we wanted to show it in this because it is such a neat device and a great device for students, and it's going to be a great opportunity in the future for students. It's a very expensive device, but it's what the capabilities it has will really give students great opportunities. That it has the capability of pulling up from a tactile graphic library. So if you want to pull up a picture of Swiss cheese or a butterfly, you can go into that tactile graphic library and it will pull it up, and then the students can feel it automatically versus having to have the teacher try and figure out how to make it tactile for the student, and they can start feeling those same feel or see the butterfly at the same
Mhm.
time as their peers do.
Nice, nice. Can I'm gonna ask about money. So how do you get these things? Are there certain grants that they can apply for? Is there certain ways they can?
Yes, I get through some, various funding
Um,
through grants.
through grants?
And that's how I typically will buy, project discoveries through grants.
Nice.
We do have
Do you have all the kits? I meant to look and see how many
No.
kits you have.
We don't have all the kits, but we're getting close.
Yeah, I thought, that's what I thought, that you had quite a few of them. Because
Yeah,
we
we do.
have 17 adapted kits right now, and I think you guys have 10 of them. I think you
Yeah.
have 10 kits.
Yeah. We have 10 of
And
those. Plus, we've gotten some other levels just based on students' needs, areas that we think that we need to work on with our students, just in life skills in those areas as
With
well.
the video ones too.
Yeah.
Just the
yeah.
TV.
What about, I know that when you get the adapted kits, you also get the basic or the advanced. Do you ever feel like you can pull things from those part of the kits to use in the classrooms? I know they're a little more high level, but do you ever use that?
Yes.
Yes, I definitely intertwine some of the kids, like this, the carpenter's helper and then construction. I definitely merge those together because if the student's like, okay, I know what these are, what's next? I can take from other kits
Yeah.
that focus on the same.
Yeah.
Let him go, dig deeper into what his
Sure.
passion is.
Yeah, especially if they've got an interest in it. Yeah, we want to explore that all the way for sure. Well, you'll be glad to know that we are in the process of adapting the rest of our kits, and we're trying to get 3 of them done. Medical patient care, construction trades, and law enforcement will, fingers crossed, be done and ready for use, probably not long after the first of the year. So if you have money to spend and you are interested in at least those 3 kits, maybe hang on to it a little bit so that you can get, because I know you talked about construction and how they really love that. And we've kind of expanded those construction trades into like plumber and a mason and some other things that they can do, and understand that construction isn't just building a wall. There's more to it than that, more opportunities than that, I guess. I think this is great. Anything else that you want to add? Sam, any other questions come through?
Yeah, so we had one question about resources that Bridget and Elizabeth like to use to further adapt curriculum in their classrooms. I know we talked about the Monarch, the
AI reader.
CAI
Mhm.
pins. Is there anything else that you all really enjoy using in your classroom?
That's basically, like I said, with the VI students, so the one student has a seeing eye gaze on his computer, so he answers with a yes or a no. You can change the picture on his iPad to go with if it's yes or no, like, don't like, want, something. We've set it up on that for him because he uses his eyes to answer his questions because he's nonverbal, or we have the voice output. It just depends on what the students are accustomed to, and if they're used to doing that, sometimes it's hard to change it
Yeah.
and try to up the ante on the students. If that's how they communicate and answer, then we kind of stay with that.
Stick with that.
The deaf and hard of hearing kids is the signing, picture symbols, picture representative, real objects, whatever, to get them to understand exactly, because they're so visual.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's another cool thing about the Project Discovery kits. The things you get are actual tools, actual things that they use on the job, so they
Right.
can actually feel it and see that this is what that tool feels like. So that's another bonus for Project Discovery.
And then we have one more question. I think we have time to answer it quickly. How many students can access one kit at a time?
Well, right now, I'm focusing, I have a classroom of 8.
Mhm.
I have 8 kids in the one classroom. And they can all participate in that kit. It's me being creative on how to maneuver them in a way where they can all, I don't have, this one's getting bored because I'm not focusing on this one, but I do have associates in there with me that can also, go around the table with whatever we need, questions we need, feeling something, answering something. So we kind of feed off of each other, but so far I'm up to like 8 kids in a classroom, so
I think
it's.
it would also depend on the kit and what you're focusing on, whereas I think some you can have more in working on the same kit, whereas others you might be able to only have 2 or 3 just because of the type of kit it is.
Right, what their
and
needs are.
and the needs of the students, but also what they're learning, and like the carpentry, like there's only, one hammer or one drill. So
Right.
depending on what they're building, so that I think it depends on the kits and the needs of the students.
Right.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I think we're about winding down now. So we just want to say thank you to everyone for coming. We want to say thank you to Jennifer, our lovely interpreter, and to Elizabeth and Bridget, our awesome speakers. If you want to learn more about Education Associates, you can go to our website, educationassociates.com. We've got a lot of great free resources there for you. We've got preview packets so you can see parts of the curriculum. That's a free downloadable. And then we've also got a contact us form. We also have live chat. You can just reach out and ask us any questions you have. And then we do have a newsletter that you can sign up for as well. It's called Career News and Views. We'll be hitting some of the highlights of this webinar along with some additional resources. And I think that's about it. Oh, yep, contact us, like I said. We're always here for you all. And
I got more. Don't go away yet, Sam. I got more.
okay. We've got a resource page, just chock full of information, research that we've done about our curriculum, more information about the curriculum itself, past webinar Wednesdays. You can see it all there on our website. And we would love to hear from you after this webinar. We also know that funding is always top of mind with these types of things. We've got information on what kind of funding you might be eligible for. Just a lot of great resources on our website. So we would love for you all to check us out. And thank you all again for coming to our webinar Wednesday. It is our last one of the year. We don't do webinars in December, but we will be coming back in January. So keep your eye on your inbox for that invite. So thanks, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate everything that you've done. That was so nice for you to do that. And I know it was so beneficial. There were lots of people in the chat that were so happy to have you here helping us.
Wonderful. Well, I'm happy to help anytime.
Okay, we'll keep you on the list because we're going to do this again. And I want to be able to have these opportunities again to speak to our deaf community for sure. So you're on the list.
All right. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.